Probably the biggest story we've had in crypto in a long time is right here. Michael Saylor's MicroStrategy is actually considering selling some Bitcoin. If their stock falls below their Bitcoin holdings value, and he says, quote, we would do that. We would do that because that's in the best interest of the shareholders. Well, does that mean that Michael Saylor is going to sell some Bitcoin? I want to talk to you guys a little bit about that because that story is coming out at the same time that Tom Lee is once again going out on national TV making some bullish calls. Tom Lee predicts Bitcoin will hit a new all-time high before the end of January 2026. Now, why is he saying this? Why is he putting this out there? Well, let's talk a little bit about it in this video, guys. Welcome back to the Crypto Report, everybody. I hope you all are doing wonderfully today. Do me a favor, smash the like button on your way in. Subscribe to the channel if you haven't done so already. And let's start with this bullish bit of news from Tom Lee and listen to this clip right here. Just take a listen real quick.
I think the biggest tailwind that's going to emerge in the next couple of weeks is around the central bank. The Fed is set to cut in December, but also today is the day that quantitative tightening ends. You know, the Fed's been shrinking its balance sheet since April 2022.
I'm going to pause right there because what he just said is quantitative tightening has ended today. Now, that is true. If you haven't noticed, the price of Bitcoin is up a nice 6.7% today. Okay. Yesterday, there was a lot of fear over Michael Saylor and his company maybe selling some Bitcoin. Today, here is, Tom Lee once again going on national TV with this very bullish narrative, pointing to the Fed here. Let's continue.
It's been a pretty big headwind for market liquidity. The last time we had an end to QT, quantitative tightening, was September 2019. And if you look back at that period, the markets really responded well. I think within 3 weeks rallied more than 17%.
Okay, so last time quantitative tightening ended, which it just did again, the markets in 3 weeks rallied 17% because of this quantitative tightening ending. Now, this is back to something we've been talking about a long time, is the Fed and what their decisions have as an impact on the crypto market. I want to finish up this clip.
So I do think the timing of QT ending, which is now essentially QE starting, and the Fed, and at a time when November kind of was topsy-turvy, so I think people got cautious, but now have to performance chase, and then you have a really typically a seasonal tailwind. So I'm pretty bullish into December, even with maybe the first day being rocky.
All right. So he said, hey, December 1st, it was a little bit rocky. There was a lot of uncertainty, but that uncertainty will fade out because the Fed is ending quantitative tightening. They're moving into quantitative easing, which is the magical money printer, injecting money into the economy, basically. And what he actually talked about in this interview as well, which didn't come on this clip, was he was talking about a dovish Fed. I think he mentioned dovish Fed in this. A dovish Fed coming because if you haven't seen the stories, the president is going to appoint a new head of the Fed soon. The president is very interested in more rate cuts. Rate cuts are historically bullish for crypto. This is the story. This is the very specific story that could make me believe that maybe short positions are going to be short-lived here if we get continuation for this market. If Tom Lee is right, I'm in a short position right now on Bitcoin. It's $4,000 in the profit with a $2,000 stop loss. Take profit set at $96,000, which is perfect. If that gets stopped out, great. I'm a winner. I'll reset. I'll reevaluate. And I'll keep trading. I've been trading altcoins, quick in and out. My take profit was just hit on XRP this morning. I made a couple $100 on that this morning. I got stopped out for a very small loss on my Solana trade yesterday because we had a little bit of a pump overnight. I'm trading over on Blowfin, and if you guys want to do some trading as well, check out the affiliate link in the description down below. By the way, we have a very active private Discord. It is increasingly getting active. We do have trade signals that pop up in that Discord as well. Do your own research as always, my friends. But if you want to get access to our private Discord, when you sign up for Blowfin using our link, you will get access to that private Discord. Now, I want to jump on over to this right here. Is MicroStrategy going to sell some Bitcoin? Well, he said that they might sell Bitcoin if their stock falls below their Bitcoin value. Now, as of yesterday, I found this post. Here is the reality of the situation. MicroStrategy holds 650,000 Bitcoin. That was worth $55.9 billion yesterday. So this was posted, as you can see, December 1st. Today is the 2nd. So this was posted midday yesterday when Bitcoin was at like 84,000. And you also had MicroStrategy stock probably at an even bigger low. So Strategy has $55.9 billion worth of Bitcoin, and their stock's market cap is $45 billion. Remember what Michael Saylor said here. They might sell Bitcoin if their stock falls below their Bitcoin value. Guess what? That happened. And I have not seen a story yet to say that Michael Saylor has sold. Now, today, the stock might be back above the Bitcoin value. The market's getting a little bit of a rebound. But actually, I would assume that their Bitcoin holdings are still probably bigger than their company's market cap. So there is a chance that, he may actually end up selling. And so what's interesting here is Jim Cramer is just hopping on the hate train against Michael Saylor, which happens every single bear market. And for now, I still believe that we are in a bear market, my friends. I'll admit, quantitative tightening has given me a little bit of a bullish itch. That is a factor that, I think it could play out. I do think the 4-year cycle is still stronger. We'll have to see. But Jim Cramer's chirping in here and saying, why do people think that Michael Saylor is going to tell you what he's going to do next with strategy? This guy has 9 lives because he's a master poker player and we're all knaves. Fancy words. I think he could engineer a squeeze of a lifetime by going the opposite of what he says. In other words, Jim Cramer is calling Michael Saylor a con artist, and he's saying that Michael Saylor is lying to all your faces. And I don't know. Do we believe Michael Saylor? He is going to be selling stock if he has to. But is that wrong? Is that bad? I think the reality of the situation is anybody who's the CEO of a company will have to do what is in the best interest of the shareholders. And if it comes time to have to sell some, well, they might have to do that, because the reality of the situation is that at $74,000 for a cost average on their Bitcoin holdings, their $650,000 Bitcoin has an average cost of $74,000. Yesterday, the company was 15% above break even, and one big drop could erase all gains since 2020. Brutal. So people are putting out posts like this, largest experiment in corporate Bitcoin adoption is breaking in real time. And this guy is claiming January 15th, it's over, the reckoning. Corporate treasuries aren't going to work. Here's the thing. I think the corporate treasuries can work. I think that Michael Saylor is definitely doing it in a very aggressive way. If the MicroStrategy plot fails, well, that would be incredibly painful for the crypto industry. That could be the catalyst for a bear market. If Michael Saylor, sells and causes a cascading event of selling, and then they have to sell more, it could be maybe one of the things that we look back and be like, wow, that might have been one of the big things that gave us the big drop. The other way this could go out is maybe Tom Lee's right, and maybe quantitative tightening ending is a very bullish thing, and maybe Michael Saylor is going to be just fine, regardless of how this plays out. I personally still believe, this is my personal opinion, that we are in a bear market. The 4-year cycles exist until they don't. And for now, they have existed perfectly correctly, in my opinion. Yes, we had a weaker altcoin season, but the timing for the Bitcoin top is exactly on schedule, if that was the top back in October. And I think that regardless if we're going into a bear market or continuation of this bull market, I'm going to keep trading. You know, if it's a bear market, I've got my holding positions. I'm going to trade the volatility to the downside to make some money while the bear market is kicking into full gear. As my holding positions are going down, I'll make money to the short side with some leverage. That's the way I'm going to do it. And if we start moving back up, well, I've got some profit from trading from the recent short success that I've had, and I'm willing to flip and go long if I need to. I am not there yet. I am far from it. But I do have some curiosity regarding quantitative tightening and its possibility to counter the 4-year cycle. What do you guys think? Is Michael Saylor going to sell some Bitcoin? Is the 4-year cycle over, or are we right on schedule? Are you aligning yourself with Tom Lee and his January 2026 new all-time high for Bitcoin position, or are you aligned with lower prices for Bitcoin into 2026? I want to hear from you guys in the comments down below. You want to access our private Discord? All you got to do is sign up for Blowfin. They get access to our private Discord. You can talk with me and Blacksea directly there. It's free to do. Sign up for Blowfin and you'll get access to our private Discord. And if you do some trading, there is a trading volume prize tiers where if you're doing enough trading volume, you can get different prizes like Apple AirPods, a watch, a Rolex watch, a Nintendo Switch. There's cool prizes. So check that out if you haven't done so already. In the link in the description down below. 2 videos here if you want to check them out. Thanks for tuning in, guys. I'm Crypto Kip. This is the Crypto Report. DCA, HODL. Do your own research, my friends. I'll see you in the next one. Peace, y'all.